So last time we threw some exceptions. So we had developed our little server that was able to communicate sort of with a client that we had developed previously. And the server, we got it as far as listening iteratively, repeatedly in an infinite loop, waiting for new clients to arrive. That is to say, in our slightly exaggerated language of new web browsers to connect to our web server asking for a page. I'd added just a couple of printfs here to print out to the console on the server side as things were happening. In each iteration of my infinite loop, printing out when I go back to a waiting for the next client state, and that involves creating a socket that's listening. That involved completing the task of listening for the next request over the socket. My server socket, defined up here, is created and exists for the duration of the program and is listening on this port 8080. And whenever a request arrives, it is received from that server socket that I named listener via the accept function. And what's delivered to me from that accept function is a socket that lets me communicate. And I create my input and output streams for communicating over that socket as usual. And I I put a command line, a character to a new line string in a variable here, just to let me type it once and avoid repeatedly typing it with typos, and substituting in the body of the example text from the Wikipedia page for the chunked HTTP message. I combine that with the head that the header string that I wrote here manually using my CRLF variable, and send it out. That is, say, print it to my output stream, sending it out over the socket, and then a system.out telling myself that I'm done with that client. And oh, and I had added a counter just keeping track of how many iterations of this I've had, how many individual client requests I had served. And so here's my server still running, and where's my client? So here running my client again. It ends in an exception because my client is not stopping the reads at the appropriate point, but that's not the important thing here. What is that it was able to connect to the server, and it became client number 5. But I guess, was I on 4 before? Let me run again and check. Okay, so you can see that each time I run my client again, the server's output is updating, reflecting that it's receiving these connections. And here in this slightly long output from the client, so I'm printing out the HTTP request header that I, the client, am sending. And then this was the header of the message that was received back. And the content of that message, again, is the body from the Wikipedia. So this thing starting with 4W and so on. And printed out here on the client end. I see this somewhat garbled output resulting from the imperfect state of my code, but clearly it's reflecting this content that it's receiving back from the server. Yeah, you know what stops Google.com from running? Hopefully nothing. So that's like the basic pattern of the client-server relationship. The server is just running indefinitely, And mm, um, so there was one bug at the end last time um, we were about to fix. And I forget what that was. Where were we stuck at last night? Um, so it's, uh, I mean, it's resetting um, because my code as written in the client is um, is reading past the end. It's not halting the reads um, at the at the appropriate point. Um, but that's just an issue of maintaining a counter and matching that off of the number of bytes that we were told to expect in that chunk. It feels like there was something else that I'm forgetting. Um, mm, um, maybe it was just that I was going to have the server um, modify its output to the client based on which number client it was, um, and then I didn't insert that into this because this was the chunk version. Um, um, so so let me do that, and then we'll move on to um, cookies. Oh, but by the way, what just happened here? So I modified my server and started it running again in this window. And then I switched over to this window and up arrow meant to run the client, and up arrowing the command history, I accidentally ran the server again, and it crashed immediately with this bind exception, address already in use. So my server was hard-coded to run on port 8080, and so here it's running on that port. Here, trying to run it again, it tried to run on that port again, and I can't have two programs listening on the same port, and so I got this exception and crashed. Running the program I mean to intend in this window. Oh, I forgot to change back the header that I'm sending back from the server. Okay, so so now we see the correct adjacent behavior of each time I run the client in the window on the left. So each time the client is getting refresh and asking the server for another web page, it's getting back an HTTP message whose body consists of that, hi, your web client request number, whatever. And over here on the server side, we see a print statement reminding itself that it had just received another request from client number, whatever. And there's apparently an off by one issue between these. So apparently I'm printing, I'm doing the increment in between the one message and the other, but they're both changing at the same rate. And so this is another, like, further modest increase in the complexity of what's going on here. The each time the client is connecting to the server is not just sending back the same canned message, it's sending back a different, albeit not very interestingly different, a different message to each successive client. Oh, and by the way, we can verify that, or we can get like a secondary evidence of this actually being a web server in some not completely made up sense of where's my pointer? So what did I call it? So 8080. So if I open up, if I go to address localhost 8080 in a web browser, it really is behaving as a web server in the sense that web browsers will successfully talk to it. It's cheating well, in many respects, but one other respect in which it's cheating is that the source of the page that is being sent back, so going to view source, is just the content of the page itself. So with an ordinary web page, the source of the page is not just the page, right? Google.com, which is why when we at the command line printed out Google.com, it produced stuff like looking like this. So let me have my server return a proper web page instead of just a single string. So there is an HTML file. Do I have my tags closed? No. So that looks like it's proper HTML now. HTML tag containing a head and a body. Close HTML. I save that. And recompile and start it running again. Good. So here is my client, and you can see that the body it received back is now an HTML page. Consisting of 101 characters. And go back to my browser. It looks the same. Is it the same? Did I not run it? Oh no, sorry. I just I'm still in view source. Ah, okay, good. This is something changed. So now this is natural web page. So I forgot where the title went in an HTML page evidently. I wrote, this is the page title just inside of head. So what, there's a title tag inside of the head tag? Is that how HTML works? Laro? No, but there's a tag for giving the giving what is displayed in the title bar of the window or in the tab of the window. So like, this page, the title was socket, whatever. Yeah. I think it's. So the head, there's lots of stuff that can be there in there, but I think you can put it in a title tag inside of the head portion. Is it like that? That's why the Google homepage was just plain white with a box in the middle, because Larry and Sergey didn't know much HTML. That's what they've said, at least. They may have been joking, but it's their joke, not mine. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I've successfully gotten text to show up in the title of the window. Or it's the tab, regardless of how many times. Doesn't Firefox let you drag tabs? Well, what do you mean by Google? The website, the stuff that renders what shows up in the window, or the server software that. I assume C for the C++ for the main. So. Yeah. And so now when I go to view source, so what is this number 1? Did I do that? So what is that number 1? What? Oh, okay. Good, good. Um, so since this is going to hang up on me, let's take a 10-minute break and then reconnect. Mm.